Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build some Lego and then maybe jump into a model kit after that if we finish up. Harold is hosting the stream. Thank you very much, Harold, who says hello in the chat. We also got Ultron in the chat. I'm throwing the Bear Cave emote in there for both of y'all and anyone else who's currently watching. We'll wait a few minutes, see if anybody else wants to join us before we get going. Um, right when I started, before I started this part where I'm talking to you, when I just turned the stream on, I did have a bunch of drop frames. Hopefully that's over with and won't continue. Um, we did have some snow here yesterday, so there might be some snow on the cable that goes to my apartment, which has given me issues in the past. The whole thing is bad. I need either a new cable run from the pole to the house or get FiOS, which I don't want to do. I don't want to get FiOS yet. I mean, I don't have a full-time job right now. I can't get a new internet service provider that's another $10 a month. It's not even that much more. I mean, for like a year, it'll be $10 a month. And then it'll probably be like 15 or 20 more a month. So I can't really do that. Um, Space Cadet's here in the chat. Hello, Space Cadet. Happy to have you here. Harold says, snow, what's that? Hashtag Florida. Indeed, Harold. Who knows anything about snow when you're from Florida? Uh, I understand. But yeah, we'll wait a few more minutes, see if anybody else will hang out. Hey, here's Diva. There's Diva. There's our friend Diva. Diva's here. We're going to be building Diva's mech. We're already working on Reinhardt here. Got Reinhardt there. His minifig sits in there like this and becomes the head, which is fun. Humbao's here. Hello, Humbao. Happy to have you here. Yeah, this will be a fun one. I'll say it up top. I'll probably say it later in the show. I don't know when I'm gonna, but either tomorrow or Wednesday. It'll kind of be a decision. I think I make the decision tomorrow. Tomorrow or Wednesday, I am going to stream and play Hearthstone. I'm in a tournament on Saturday, and I need to practice my deck. So my main deck, at least, if not my other decks. Although I don't expect to need to play those. So I gotta get in there and get some practice in. So I'll probably do that. I'm assuming I'm gonna do it tomorrow, so that I take Wednesday off, since that way it's not what I'm doing now, which is Thursday stream, Friday work at night, Saturday stream at night, Sunday work at night, Monday stream at night, so that Wednesday I can take off and not stream or go to work at night. That sounds pretty good. Um, anyway, we'll wait another moment or two and then we'll get going. But yeah, we're gonna finish up Reinhardt. We're gonna build Diva's mech. Then, time permitting, if we have the time for it, if we need to jump into it, we've got another kit. Board Ming did buy multiple kits, so we do have this other kit here, the Chimeras Trooper. Just pop the Chimeras Trooper that we can work on, because we got to go through those. And then I'll eventually have a poll up for my $10 Patreon supporters to decide what I build next out of my big stockpile. But anyway, let's jump to the... Yeah, here we are. Once again, thanks everybody for watching. If you are currently a subscriber and you use Twitch Prime, always make sure that you have renewed your Twitch Prime account so that you stay a subscriber. Always appreciate it if you can do that. Cold Star says, howdy. Howdy to you, friend. Happy to have you here. Thanks for joining us. So we're going to finish the legs, because Reinhardt doesn't end here. Reinhardt has a ways to go. So we gotta build up our Reinhardt. I have all of the rest of these kits knolled here across the table. Lots of good colors. Lastbrook's here. Hello, Lastbrook. So yeah, so we're just gonna build these two just like we would. But yeah, I'm gonna do a bonus stream where I play some Hearthstone, probably at 9 o'clock. I might even do it a little later. I might start at like 10 or something, and just play some Hearthstone prep for my tournament on Saturday. It is an online tournament, Um, Winning that means that I can get into another tournament, or placing, I think, gets me another tournament. I don't know. It's all this whole thing for a big old tournament that I'm gonna lose two of my three matches back to back and not compete in the third. Like, I'm not expecting to like go very far in my first ever Hearthstone tournament. Um, Ultron asks if I've seen that Ape Out game. Yes, I have. That game looks fucking rad. I'm trying not to buy video games right now. Um, I'm trying to use the money I have set aside to live on while I look for new work. Shouldn't go till like games, but that game looks real cool. Oh, it's the art style, the Saul Bass kind of inspired art style. The and the I know that the musician who worked on it, the sound was in the band's the Harmonix. Not the band that was from Harmonix, but the musician there worked with John Drake on a band that is featured. Harold, I'm sure, knows more about that than I do, as he is far more versed in. Oh, did I put these on wrong? I put these upside down. So let's see if so I was supposed to turn this and then plug these in here. So I put these stickers on, these decals on upside down. So I am going to attempt to fix them. The main drag, yes, I believe that either the sound composer or the art composer on Ape Out was in the main drag with John Drake. But someone from that team, I think John tweeted about that. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to remove these decals without breaking them. I'm going to actually use a different tool instead of my wedge, because I'm going to use my tweezers to get in there well. Because I put these on, I was supposed to turn them over, and I didn't. So I put them on upside down. And now I'm going to attempt to lift it off before it settles. All right, tweezers did the good job on one of them. But yeah, Ape Out looks really awesome. And I have thought about that game. I'm going to keep an eye on it. I think it's on my wish list on Steam. So maybe when money situation is different for me, do that. Because also, yes, I need a full-time job. I'm going to get a full-time job. That's a huge priority for me, obviously, is to get new employment. I also have to buy a Switch this year. I borrow a friend of mine who travels a lot and doesn't take consoles with him, but I gotta own my own for Pokemon, right? I can't not play a mainline Pokemon game, so I'm gonna have to buy a Switch. I'm really hoping that the much rumored, never actually said, new Switch comes out, so the old ones become cheaper, and I could just buy that without worrying about it. That's my game plan. Okay, so we fixed these. So, Lego decals. Catch it early enough, you can remove and replace, or in my case, revert. So we did that, which is great. I was worried about that. I just didn't look closely enough. Put them on upside down. All right, now we have feet. And he got feet? Yes. Before you can even type it in the chat, he does indeed got feet. Reinhardt has feet. All right, now we're going to... what else could I say? And he got feet. Indeed, Ultron. We're going to build... we're going to build the crotch right now. I don't know how else to say it. That's what we're building. I know old, so it shouldn't be too hard to find the pieces I need, but sometimes it still is because there's a lot of them. But as we go and build, it does decrease. But what I didn't want to do is open up bag 2, finish it, and then and then have to null bag 3. So I just nulled the 2 bags together. But yeah, still should be pretty simple, pretty straightforward. There's a few games that I've been looking at, but or like I said, I do eventually. I'm gonna have to go and buy a Switch so I can get my Pokemon fix on. Gotta play Pokemon. I gotta catch them all. I gotta get my Fire Bunny out there. Have him make some friends. Burn them. That's what you do. All right. Now we're technically in bag 2. Let's get dark 3-piece there. Speaking of video game stuff, I put up, and I'll link to it in the middle. When I do my usual like, hey, this is what's going on with me. This is what you should check out. I'll put that up there. But I put up episode 1 of my 4-part look at cheats and mods for Fallout 4 called Uncommonwealth. I'm excited to have people check that out. Where is it? Where's the piece I need? Oh, there it is. I nulled, and then I couldn't find what I was looking for. But yeah, I'm excited to have people watch that. It is currently out on my YouTube, youtube.com/PatBaer, and you can check that out if you're interested. It is it's a good look. I look at a really interesting mod immediately. One that I've used a bunch because one of the things about Fallout 4 is I really like settlements, and I like exploring, and I like having a cool crew and doing all that stuff. What I don't particularly enjoy about Fallout 4 is the main storyline. So one of the things you could just fucking do is the choose where you start mode. Yes. So that's what you can use. You could use this thing that basically is the opening where you pick what you look like. You just decide as a dream. And then you wake up in a different location, and you can have a, gear or whatever. One of my favorite things, you just can show up at the garage. And then there's a quest for you to go to the vault and find the dead body of you. And basically you can take the task of assuming that person's identity to finish things. Which doesn't make any sense. Because, minor spoiler, I guess, for Fallout 4, the whole thing is about you and your particular DNA. Your DNA that has not been degraded over time to radiation. So the idea of you being like, well, I'm going to go find this dead person's kid, I guess, like, that doesn't make sense. But it's a really good kit, or a really cool thing. Always felt hard to roleplay in that game when your baby is missing. The sense of urgency, just 100% Cold Scar. It's one of those things where you're like, why am I building this? Why am I at Abernathy Farm making sure these random farmers can do better? My kid's out there. Like, what? What am I doing? Yeah, when it's not just about survival, it seems a little off. Because to me, like, one of the fun things about Fallout New Vegas is, okay, you killed Benny, the guy that shot you, and then you can, there's other stuff to do and you get involved in a bunch of other shit, but your personal part of the story is kind of done. Like, yeah, I guess you can save everybody, but also, like, it doesn't feel weird to be like, okay, got my revenge, now it's time to hang out. Like, that doesn't seem that weird. And I like that a lot. I think that's a fun part of that Fallout. Like, it's like, yeah, who cares at this point now? Everything's pretty good right now. Whereas, yeah, with 4, as Cold Scar says, why is my character not in constant tears? Yeah, like, there's emotional moments, but then there's a bunch of like, well, let's go Let's go to this vault and see what's up and down here. Ooh, what's over here? Ooh, what's over there? Like, I guess we'll help these robots move their big battleship in the sky. I don't know why we're doing this, but okay. I guess we will. Alright, so we're building an arm here. Various pieces for this arm. Old World Blues is my favorite. Oh, Cold Scar. It still might be my favorite DLC of any game. Um, because because it is standalone. You can just buy it separately. Because Blood Dragon is the best thing ever. So because you can buy that separately, it doesn't count as DLC or it sidesteps the DLC conversation. But Older Blues is incredible. The voice acting is James Urbaniak should have been in a fall. James Urbaniak should have been in Fallout 1. I don't care if they didn't know who he was. He's the perfect voice. He's one of the perfect voice actors for that series, and does just such a phenomenal job. Um, Everyone does such a great job in that, and it's small but dense, which is so nice. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Far Harbor DLC, although I wasn't super into Far Harbor. Uh, Probably because at that point, by the time I went there, my character was so overpowered, even without cheats, with just mods. Oh yeah, no, it was totally goofy, but it played so well. And yes, did I see the twist coming a mile away? Of course I did. The twist isn't very good about, uh, but it's still an incredible piece of DLC. Also, just like the fact that you're base and everyone wants to talk to you in your base is so fun and weird. All right, so we got a big hand there. All right, yeah. So wait, do we have to do two of these or? Nope, we just do a hand. Oh, and then we got to do the armor. That's right, we got to do the armor over it. Okay. So he's here. It's dark gray. These two. Great. Okay, so it goes like this. These. I was so hopeful Nuka World was going to be that in 4, and it just felt so empty. Yes, Nuka World is way too big. I mean, there's a lot of problems with Nuka World. The fact that it's so big is probably the primary problem with it. The secondary or tertiary, secondary problem is that it there isn't enough content in Fallout games for if you want to be evil. There's some small stuff in 4. 4 does a good job in doing that because like New Vegas, there's no fucking doesn't make any sense to help out Caesar because there's just not a lot of content there. There's a couple interesting things, but it's mostly like kind of a waste of your time. Um, so Fallout 4, I appreciate that they did a bunch of stuff for that. I don't think it's particularly great stuff, but they did try. And one of the things they try, I think, successfully in is that like if you are evil, Nuka World is pretty great, but uh, it's mostly like, I don't care. Also, it's got one of the worst directed pieces of text in any quest ever. Uh, So the idea, for folks that don't know, Nuka World is like this theme park. It's basically Disneyland. It's if Pepsi had a Disneyland, basically, or Six Flags. Really, it's more like a Six Flags. If Disney had a or if Pepsi had a Six Flags, I guess, or Coke. But it's interesting, and there's some cool shit going on in there. But it's filled with raider gangs, and you're trying to bring back the park to full power and take control of these raider gangs, and then you can go out in the Commonwealth and do a bunch of shit. And you meet someone who's just like basically gives you a quest is like, hey, you could just go kill these raid leaders if you want. And I don't believe some people say, oh, she's lying to you. This game, that Fallout 4 is not subtle. And if she's lying to you, if she's like telling you that it's okay if you killed all these leaders, it'd be fine. Well, what happens is as soon as you kill one of the leaders, every single raider in Nuka World becomes hostile to you when they were not hostile to you before. So it doesn't just like work. Uh, and it's frustrating because the way I want to play it is I want to kill all these raiders like in a cool way and not just, well, now every single raider I see is going to want to kill me. That's the game. It's frustrating because it could be a cool place. But you also kind of want to side with them for a while. But Cold Scar says, think I ended up almost always siding with Mr. House. Huh. In New Vegas. Like the idea of just being this old guy's enforcer. Yeah, Cold Scar never sided with Mr. House. Fuck Mr. House. Forget that dude. I, on occasion, sided with, early my first playthrough, I sided with an independent New Vegas. Because I thought the independent route was a cool way to go. I liked that idea a lot. The idea of like working with a robot. I mean, it's Dave Foley. I wanted more Dave Foley. And I thought that would be pretty cool. But the thing about doing that is the followers of the Apocalypse don't have a great ending. And they're just so nice. And I just wanted the followers to have a good ending. So I ended up siding with the NCR in a way that allowed them to flourish within the NCR. Because they're just so great. I had to make sure they'd be okay. I always think about that, how much I love the followers of the Apocalypse and how it's such a nice payoff for previous Fallout games, which, I'd gone back to. And between them and the Boomers, who I just like. Yeah, the Boomers are like, we left the vault because they wouldn't let us have guns. They're Second Amendment nuts. But like, I appreciate the society they built, and they're surviving in the wastes without being raiders. And I think that rules. I think that's awesome. It's just like they're so tough that no one will fuck with them. I ended up buying the Bastion Lego set yesterday, says Rich. Hell yeah, that's a great kit. I know you're like, oh, but it's so good. It was such a fun kit to build. I'm glad you picked it up. Where's All right. I seem to be out of. Oh no, I have more over here. Never mind. I thought I was out of small black, but I had more, so I'm not. I decided to do one bag a day for the set. That's great. I've done the first 2 bags and a lot of fun. That's awesome, Rich. I love that. I'm so happy for you. That's a really fun kit, and I'm sure you'll have a good time with it. It's not that long of a build, but it's a lot of pieces, and it turns out to be a cool kit. Cold Scar says, I wish I could go back to Fallout 1 and 2. The controls just don't work for me. Wish they got an update. Yeah, I do love Wasteland 2 for that fix. Can't wait for 3. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it is hard to go back to some of the Fallout games. I mean, they're just different games, I've always wondered if they could get if Bethesda would ever be interested in doing an update, like just doing a story in that time period, but using their modern engine. I want to make sure that my quotation marks are in the shot. A modern engine, because as we all know, there's nothing modern about that of the Fallout 4 engine. But it will be interesting to see if they ever do that. Who knows? I'm waiting. It's done a lot of it. So I've got real into Oxhorn, who is a YouTube streamer. Does a lot of Fallout stuff. He does YouTube streaming, but also YouTube videos about history of games. He focuses on the Fallout universe, and that's been great because I have no interest at all in Fallout 76, but I am interested in what other people think of it, and some of the lore stuff is cool. So it's been fun to just watch him do videos on the lore. Yeah, because like it doesn't hold any interest in me. It doesn't have the stuff I want. Hello, Epic Open World. It's been a little while. Happy to have you in here. Welcome, welcome. Uh, yeah, it just doesn't like I'm a broken record about 76. It doesn't do what I want it to do. It's not the game for me. I'm happy that some people like it. I don't particularly care for it. I'm not interested. It doesn't do what I want, so I'm not gonna play it. But there's some cool shit in that world, and I'm interested in that. So it's like you can learn about one of the first real raider crews, like the first raiders and how they started. You can learn about some of the creatures that were created there, why the super mutants are in that area. West Tech stuff is kind of interesting. There's the Mistress of Mysteries chain quest chain is kind of fucking incredible. There's a lot of cool shit in there. So I do. I'm never going to play it, but I am interested in the lore stuff. Uh, you would love to see Fallout in another country. I agree with you. I mean, I would even like to see it. I mean, we learned so. 4 tells us about Mexico City, right? We learn a bit about Mexico in New Vegas, I should say, not 4. New Vegas tells us a little bit about it, but we don't see it. I'd like to see it. Um, I'm looking forward to seeing what the other worlds from City will be like. I hear you, Rich. I am as well. Um, yeah, I mean, it just Fallout 76 isn't doing what I'm interested in Fallout games. Like, I like NPCs. I like having a crew and companions. I like just finding. It does have the stories, but the stories aren't the people. They're like just robots assigning you quests, and I'm not super into that. Um, got 90 hours in Anthem. Wow. Okay. And Lashbrook's digging Anthem a lot. Well, I'm glad. Um, I tried the demo of Anthem and did not enjoy it. So that was the end of my Anthem play. I didn't like walking around, so I stopped. Also, like I said, I'm trying not to spend a bunch of money, so purchasing a $60 game wasn't in the cards for me. I'm having a lot of fun with Apex, which I have spent $0 in. I mean, I haven't played Apex in a while. Let's be real. I haven't had time. I've been honestly playing a lot of Hearthstone. Trying to gear up for this tournament. 19 is one of these. Great. My Colossus looks like Devastator, says Lashbrook. That rules. Rich says my Colossus looks like the Hulkbuster armor because I can't come up with a better color scheme. Hey, it's classic because it's powerful and great. That's a fine choice. Hulkbuster is a fine piece of robotics. All right, so we got our shoulder we'll put on here. I mean, I've always liked this choice about this choice here is really fun for me to look at. So it's that the Pauldron is connected to the arm, not the shoulder. So it allows for a lot of movement. And I think that's fucking rad. I really like that choice. It's a very cool choice. All right, and we're gonna build the other one now. Um, I think I'm at the point with Apex that I haven't played enough, and my anxiety is kicking, assuming I'm the one dragging the team down. Lashbrook, I get that. That might be a game that's just, oh, my friends are online. What are we playing? Oh, we're playing Apex. Like, I'm not certainly with that. I'm still playing with people. I found playing in the afternoon, which works very well with my schedule, means that I am getting with people that are not so hardcore with it that they're willing to put up with a healer or somebody that just wants to throw uh, cords around and zip line all over the place. Because that's honestly all I want to do in that game is heal people and zip line all over the place. Oh, I love zip lining in that game. It's real fun. Uh, Epic Open World says, we better be quiet. If you say on the internet you like Anthem, the fun police come out and say how wrong you are for liking it. Yeah, I mean it is culturally accepted to say that you don't like that game. I'm not here to say that those people are wrong. Like I said, I don't particularly enjoy it, but also I know that often chatter community Bear Cave community member Zorbs really likes Fallout 76. It does it for him. So like, yeah, people can like the stuff. Hey, one of y'all could be like, this. Hey, this is the best Crackdown. I know people that had a lot of fun with Crackdown, the Crackdown, but I know a lot of people that were so fucking bummed out by it. So like, yeah, different strokes for different folks. You don't really like PvP. Yeah, I understand. Um, I'm not a huge on PvP. I'm not in battle royales. Like I played a lot of um, hours and hours of some of them, but like but I understand if they're not for you. I have a fun time with them. I like getting into skirmishes occasionally. Warcraft, I would play PvP events sometimes. Like I was on a PvP server and had fun with that. I was never good at it. I'm still not good at it, which is why I like support roles. Yes, Rich. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm also not good at it. Like, uh, but like, excuse me, sorry about that. Like PUBG, like I'm okay at PUBG. I can make it. I've gotten dinner. I've gotten a chicken dinner before. Uh, Pretty infrequent, but and in team battle, I've certainly got chicken dinners with teams more than I did solo. But I would do okay in that game. Um, but also the thing I like about Apex is that like it's just so fucking quick and fast. It's just snappy and fun. And yeah, I get to be a robot that throws zip lines. So like, yeah, I'm pretty into it. Uh, Kolskar says there are people that say Fallout 4 is better than New Vegas, and that's how you weed people out of your life. So Kolskar, I'm not ready to weed people out of my life for liking one video game over another. You can think they're suspect, but I don't know. But I do understand what you're saying. Uh, I don't. I don't think that. I think Fallout New Vegas is the best Fallout game. Um, the comparison between the debate between 3 and New Vegas, I think, is reasonable. It does different, the games do different things. But like, yeah, Fallout 4 has some cool shit, and also has a noir robot detective. So like Nick Valentine goes a long fucking way in making Fallout 4 pretty goddamn cool. But it doesn't do enough. He's not enough to make me think it's better than New Vegas. Piper's great. Piper's no Veronica. Or Cass even. And Kate is certainly no Cass. They're very different. Uh, uh, I've played with the new start mode on 4, and it helps. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm interested in doing this now. I'm just this guy that is the character I chose. He's a Fallout enthusiast. He's got a Vault 114 suit, and he's interested in vaults. That was his thing. But he's mostly just hanging out, doing his own thing. Yeah, and I'm not. I mean, this thing is about mods and cheats or whatever. So I'm not even going to worry about the storyline. I'm just going to go and take out some fools and have fun with it. See what happens. All right, we're building our big old weapon here, so we got to do that. We need these and this one here. I just want Doom Eternal to come out and actually have good multiplayer. Give me a great modern spin on classic Doom player PvP. Are Diva and Reinhardt quite a bit smaller than Bastion? Yes, Rich. So the Bastion kit is actually, you know what? Hold on a second. I'm gonna go get it. I'll be back. Hold on, because I want to show this off. So hold on. Yeah, the size. Sorry, I'm back. The size differential is partly because it's a big kit that transforms, and this is two kits. Now I did take it apart, so I will have to put it to fit in its box. I had to take it apart, but I will take photos when these are all done and show the difference in the size. But I mean, you can see for yourself. This is going to be when I put this all together. Because yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I'll show this off. I'm going to do a comparison photos. They'll be in the Discord. But take a look at the leg. So yeah. So just this chest is about the size of Reinhardt. So it's gonna be big when all is said and done. But yeah, I had to kind of take it apart to fit it back in its box. But it'll be easy to reassemble in the future. But yeah, I'll take some photos and show them all off together. And it makes sense because yeah, you're getting two kits in this one, and that one is one big one. But yeah, it certainly is bigger. 100 Doom Slayers drop onto an island. Yeah, Mega Crane also hi Mega Crane. I'm not expecting us to get ourselves a battle royale. But I could see them doing. There's something. They're definitely got something cooked up for Doom that could be interesting. I don't think you're probably being facetious as well, saying that. But who knows? Maybe they do have some sort of cool battle royale mode cooked up that none of us are anticipating, and all of us are going to be like, "Oh shit!" It could happen. Oh. Pieces just flew away. Alright, so now I am hunting for a piece that I can't find. Uh-oh. There it goes. There's almost a difference between high grade and master grade. Yeah, Robot Crank. Also, hi, Robot Crank. Happy to have you here. It is a bit like we're looking at the difference between a 144 and a 100 scale. So I can find this piece. Oh, it's silver. That's what it is. There's a difference between the silver and the gray, and I couldn't find it because I put it in a different spot. Goes here. This goes there. This goes on one end. This goes on the other. Well, and that's Reinhardt. And then there is a version you can just take this off and make it for Reinhardt to hold, his weapon. But we don't have to worry about that. But that's one half. That's Reinhardt done. See if I can. And what you do is you just. Oh, let me look at the instructions of that. Doom Eternal PvP is just VR. I will launch myself into the sun. Yeah, I feel like it won't just be a battle royale. The multiplayer will be different than just a battle royale. I'm thinking anyway. Okay, so it just goes in. There's clips in here on the hand to put it, so you can just put them on there, and then close the hand up. Why would I do it like that when I can do it like this? Oh, thank you for hosting, Ruby. Ruby, thank you for hosting. Really appreciate it. Hosting's great. Subscribing, following. If you just follow my Twitter and come in, you can always give me a follow and set your notifications. But yeah, Reinhardt is done. We are one half done with this set. We have now completed Reinhardt. I'm going to put Reinhardt over here so I can just hang out. And now let's build Diva's mech. All right, great. Got a question I have to answer after the stream. And we're done with these instructions, so I can put these instructions over here as well. Cool. Let's move on and build us a diva. Okay. Oh, it's weird. We start with a pink piece. How odd. So we do have two different pinks. Too bad Reinhardt did have the clear blue parts to have this deployed shield. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a smaller thing, right? If it had been the Bastion treatment, because this is 400 and something, 450 pieces for two kits instead of 600 pieces for one kit. So they're different, they're different scales. There's even the smaller little things like Tracer's vehicle and all that stuff. We have two different pinks here. We got a dark pink and a light pink. Both are great colors. Lots of stickers, lots of decals for this. But yeah, a wide variety of pieces, and of course a few extras that we'll find at the end. But the pink is good. The pink is very vibrant, even on my kind of weirdly colored stream because my color is a little off due to the green screen effect. It still looks really good. There, and a white, solid. Maybe they'll eventually make bigger solo sets for other characters in the future. Big Zenyatta. Yeah, I could see them. I mean, like, if this partnership works, like, the character stuff is so integral to Overwatch, I could see there being a market for more of these sets. I think they went with the ones right. The biggest sets are the big robot mechs. There's also, like, maybe if that big Western mech with the mustache, maybe we'll see him have a set, I could see that set working out well. And the sets seem kind of nice. I haven't looked too deep in them. This is still kind of within the theme of the building here, building a big mech. So, the four-legged one, yeah. Epic says, completely unrelated, I love Diva and wish Blizzard would make a game just for her. I quit playing Overwatch 2 months after it came out. I understand. Diva is a breakout character. There's tons of breakout characters in the show. I can understand why you're a Diva fan, and I agree with you. We need a light gray one of these things. There it is. I'd love if they made some kind of single-player RPG game in the Overwatch universe. Yeah, I mean that might be interesting if they found another way to use those characters in a different setting. I could see that being pretty fucking cool. I don't know if they ever will, but I could see them looking at that. I like the idea of a Overwatch Adventures where different levels are themed for different characters. And so, like, you got to do different things with the different people. And it's like, oh, this is a Mei level. Or like maybe even something where like they just have them all playable characters and they do something where like you build a team and you're just kind of controlling them as they go along. It's like build your squad, freedom fighters or something. All right, so then this goes like this. Got another sticker on there. Yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. Diablo with Overwatch characters. Yeah, I can see something like that. Just something to mix up the formula, give the characters something new to do, have some fun with it. I could see that being pretty cool. And there. And that there. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Yeah, I think that would be a really neat idea. I could see that being, and also being popular, because there are plenty of people that there's a clearly interest in those characters on the internet that has nothing to do with Overwatch, the game. So people like making money. Figure out a way to make some money with that shit. I could see that working out pretty good. All right, so we're gonna have first of our dark pink here. I don't know exact the shade to call this. It's not fuchsia, is it? But it's that kind of an accent pink that's very nice looking. And then we need a light gray. These. But yeah, I'm really into this color. Think there's enough good lore for Overwatch that could do a single player game. How could have been someone trying to restart Overwatch and you play a new member or something? Yeah, I could see that with Rich. Yeah, like I don't know. There's definitely things they could do with it if they chose to do something else. And it might drum up more interest in their league stuff, which is nothing that I'm super into because I don't. I watch. Okay, so when it comes to competitive gaming, I am much more likely to watch someone stream and chat about what they're doing than I am to watch an official esports thing with commentary. Like, I'd rather watch a Hearthstone streamer talk about the game they're playing currently and their deck and what they're going to do than watch a tournament version with a even very knowledgeable commentary team. And the same thing sort of applies to watching battle royale games. Like I'd much rather watch a friend of mine or an internet stranger play than I would watch like an esport. Fighting games is a little different. I rarely watch fighting game streams, but every once in a while I'll watch the finals of a tournament. That's probably the only time that happens. Overwatch League is impossible to watch. Yeah, Ultron says all this Overwatch talk just makes me want a really good G.I. Joe game. I hear you, buddy. I get what you're saying there, and I do agree. A great Joe game would be real rad. Um, Good night, Harold. Thanks for jumping in. I'll see you soon. Um, I love watching professional fighting games, but yeah, that's the most I do esports wise. I will always watch Evo. Yes, Rob, I totally agree with you. I think that also it's been around longer than any other esport, so commentators are very knowledgeable and know what's going on, know what to say, know how to sell what's happening. Sometimes they talk in a way that I don't understand, but for the most part, it's fine. But in general anyway, that's the only way I like it. If I'm trying to watch something, and you're watching two people and you're watching a side scroller, or maybe it's in 3D, but most of the time, it's a left and right 2D, 3D art in a 2D plane. You can kind of follow along, whereas I tried watching Dota, and I have a general understanding of how Dota's played. I played Defense of the Ancients. I have a pretty decent knowledge of that universe, or of that game. But watching highly skilled, high-level play of that, I'm like, nope, I am lost. Do not know what's happening. I do not know where people are right now. I do not know what's going on. Oh, we got our guns here. Now, these are just straight up guns. These are not like Lego, like, oh, it's actually a thing, whatever. Like, this is a straight up weapon. See right there. Kind of interesting. I mean, it's not uncommon, but it's more common than it used to be to see just straight up weapons. All right, and that goes on here. Yeah, I think fighting games are just like a great way to watch professionals play their sport. Whereas sometimes it can be hard to watch other stuff. I'm gonna have a drink of water. Hey, folks that are joining me, hello and welcome. Happy to have you here. We're gonna be building for another hour or so. We finished Reinhardt. We're working on Diva right now. Here's our Diva minifig. She's right there, but we're building her mech right now. This has been a fun kit. These are kits that I've been wanting to do for a bit because it's fun to, one, I hadn't done Lego in quite some time. So it was nice to get back into Lego because I love it. But also, it was nice to work on a property we've never worked on before. Like, I have that Naruto kit, and I'm excited to build that, even though it's the same kind of kit as the Dragon Ball, right? It's the same style of kit. It'll feel the same as I build it. It'll feel very similar to building the Dragon Ball folks. But I'm also just excited because it's like, haven't worked on it, haven't done anything from the world of Naruto. So that's fun. I usually watch Overwatch League. I usually enjoy it. I just wish the teams had a little more variety in characters. I think the personality of commentators plays a big role in my enjoyment. Yes. And Mega Crane says, Dragon Ball FighterZ is nonsense, but I love watching that game being played competitively. Yes, that's a very fun game to watch competitively. I've watched that game with people who know more about fighting games than I do, and that's really interesting to watch them kind of pick apart the game. There was a party I went to with some people, and we were watching, and somebody hadn't seen Dragon Ball FighterZ played, but knew about fighting games kind of from back in the day, and having him like watch it and kind of pick it apart and be like, okay, what is this like, and comparing them and contrasting was really interesting to like hear him talk about it and talk through it. As some of the that he was just like, I don't even know this anime, I don't know what's going on, but okay, it's this thing, and it's like this, and like, this is like an anime fighter, but, and it was like, yeah, it's just interesting. Stick with me here. Evo 2019, one of the Street Fighter characters drop on an island. And then, that's from Epic Homo World. And then Rob says, the helpful part for me is fighting games is that no matter what, it's still just 2 health bars draining. Yeah. A thing that, to borrow a phrase from the wrestling podcast, Tyson Fights, as Danielle says, 2 dudes. I just want 2 dudes. That is the thing about fighting games. It is just one person fighting another person outside of Smash, of course. If you're a 4-player, but for the most part, almost in every other instance possible, it is just 2 people and like 2 characters on screen, and then stuff fucking happens. And you can kind of figure it out as you go. Maybe not the intricacies, but you can generally be like, oh, they're fighting. Oh, wow. Oh, he blocked. Oh, shit, she ducked. Oh, cool. Oh, what's that? Oh, that can happen? Oh, you can do that? Oh, wow. Fuck. Cold Scar says, gonna miss All Systems Goku until they come back. Yes, it was somewhat bittersweet to finish off today's episode. That has been fun to watch them discovered Dragon Ball. So I did not rewatch along. I've of course seen, not of course, but I've seen all of it. Um, and so it was fun to like remember moments I had forgotten, and then be like, oh, because I didn't watch Kai, I watched Dragon Ball fan subbed. So it was very interesting. And then I tweeted about this that at one point in discussion of what other anime they're going to watch, not necessarily for a podcast, but just for their own enjoyment. Jeff mentioned Initial D, and then that made me very happy because I think Initial D is great, but also makes me want to fucking watch Initial D. Super All Systems Goku. Yeah, I mean they could just jump to Super. They don't. I don't think they're going to. I think they are going to take certainly a break. Maybe not. Certainly not as long of a break as Dragon Ball into Super or Dragon Ball GT to Super even. But yeah, I think they're probably going to have a respite. They earned it. Cold Scar says I caught up on a lot of anime this past week. Yeah. Yeah. No, Lashbrook. Evangelion is not for Dan. So I reached out to him with recommendations. He said he has the Black Lagoon DVDs. I think the Black Lagoon DVDs. I think Black Lagoon is a good spot for him. Jormach. I forgot how to say the name. There's another one that's kind of like that. It's a PMC doing things like a arms dealer, and like a child soldier. And I feel like Dan would be really into that show because there's some wild shit in that. So YouTube saw I liked Overwatch and suggested Gate. Cold Scar. Yeah, Gate is another anime that I think Dan could get into. Modern military in a fantasy setting, just ripping people apart. And now he has at least an understanding for some of the more weird, like the fact that Gate also is a harem show, like honestly really surprised me. I did not see the harem elements coming, even with the guy as an otaku as the main character. I really did not expect there to just be like a lot of mythical ladies, fantasy ladies just hanging out with that dude. Did not see that coming. That was a surprise. They enjoy the goofy stuff. No, totally. You know, well, yeah, I was like, wait, what's this, the harem? Yes, Cold Scar. It is very surprising when the harem shows up in Gate. I do know that Dan is thinking about doing My Hero, and so I'm a little worried because it is so American influence, superhero influence, that Dan has kind of pushed back against do-goodery stuff. The heart of it might be enough for him. But the thing that I actually think will push Dan over the edge is All Might is the most Japanese version of what being an American is. But it's like, it's got its problems, but it's not like, it's not racist. All Might isn't a caricature. He is just an incredible exaggeration. So I do think that that Dan would really like All Might. So, yes, Chris Sabat is All Might. So, Chris Sabat has had such an interesting, like he's obviously, the guy's never stopped working, right? He's a legend. He's done it all. But I'm sure he didn't know that when he got the gig as being All Might, what that was going to do for him as a person that goes to conventions. Because what happens is, and it's making me get emotional, is that he goes and folks cosplaying or just wearing merch from My Hero come up and hug him. And then he says plus ultra, and they just start crying. And it's like, I haven't seen it in person, and I know I would cry. But All Might means so much to a whole really young generation of anime fans, and folks my age as well. I'm not discounting that, but for a lot of kids, that's their fucking show, and they get to meet All Might, and that's just like an incredible thing, and it's got to be incredible for him too. Uh, to just have that like weird thing, but it's like, yeah, he gets to meet kids and then be All Might for them, and that's like unbelievable. Uh, uh, I hope he gets back to One Punch Man. Yeah, I could see him being into One Punch Man. And then Lashbrook says, I'm starting Iron Blood Orphans. Again, a show with a literal harem. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're there. They are there. So you're not wrong. After we're going to take a break in a second. I'm going to finish the stickers here, and then we'll take our break, and I'll talk about how you can support the stream and all that. And then we'll get into anime, and we'll talk about the show that has a harem that, for the most part, does it well. And also, in these last couple episodes at least, has just completely abandoned that part of the show. It's so weird. These last couple episodes of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime are so interesting because they just feel like filler, but they are in the manga, or they feel like the start of the second arc, but they're the end of this arc, and it's so weird. But yeah, we'll talk about that. The pacing of that show. All right. We'll put this on there. So we're just going to finish the stickers here. We got one more sticker to put on, and then I will take my break to talk about ways that you can support the stream and all that. Put this. Also watch Goblin Slayer, which is also wait, this is a harem too. The main character doesn't give two shits about it. Yeah. So Cold Scar, I would never recommend that show because I don't think it's good. But there's some interesting things in that show, like the fact that they all, like, nobody has a fucking name. Everyone has a nickname based on, like, who they are or what they do. From Goblin Slayer down to, like everybody. Everybody's just got some fucking weird nickname. And I really like that. It's just a strange element of that show. Yeah, that show is fucked, but it also is a harem show. It's fucked in many ways. People be creepy. So as anime noob, why are harems a thing? Is a subgenre. So epic open world, as Rob says, people are creepy. That's true. So a lot of it is, the wish fulfillment aspect of it, just the desire to have like a lot of female characters that are all interested in the main character and do the romance option is like just a thing that happens in anime. It is a huge part of the subgenre of the type of shows that I talk about because I do like other parts of isekai, which is the Stranger in a Strange Land subgenre of anime. Like That Time I Got Reincarnated as Slime is a prime example of that. Inuyasha is an example of that. It is a reverse isekai in the fact that the main character who is traveling to another world is a lady instead of a gentleman. If Inuyasha had come to our world, then it would be the traditional isekai. What are some great isekai, says Rob? Tenchi Muyo, I think, was the first harem I ever saw. Yep, that's probably the first anime harem you would be involved in. Seems a lot of stranger in a strange land. Yes, that is true. So, I'm going to take my moment here to talk about some ways you can support the stream. First and foremost, so a couple people renewed their subscription but didn't put the little thing. So please do that so we can know that you renewed your subscription so I can say thank you. And we can all throw the Bear Cave emote in there. But some people did. Ways you can support the stream. Bits, coins, becoming a subscriber, using your Twitch coin, using real money. Those are huge ways to support the stream. They allow me to buy model kits and stuff and to build in the stream, Lego sets, all of that. It's hugely helpful. You can also join my Patreon. Patreon, I get a better cut from Patreon. They are terrible at being their own business and are often very bad at sending money that you have earned. Some months they take the money that I owe other patrons from the money I'm going to get, and sometimes they just charge my bank account. And you never know which they're going to do. It's terrible. But Patreon also allows me to keep doing this, so consider joining that. I have an Amazon wish list. This kit was bought off my wish list. The next kit we're building was bought off my wish list. It's a great way to support the stream is to buy things off of the Amazon wish list. I'll just go ahead and say, I'll mention two things off the wish list that I think are great. There are two papercraft kits that are Studio Ghibli. One's Kiki's delivery service. The other is a Totoro. Those look awesome. I've never done papercraft on the stream. That would be rad. And then, Android 17 is on sale. It's $29, free Amazon Prime shipping. I'll build that kit if someone bought that kit. That'd be fun to build Android 17. Classic. I also have a coffee. That's for kind of donations one time. Any money I make on this stuff here, model goes to me buying kits and equipment. That's all it is. All that goes into me buying model kits and equipment for that. So consider becoming a subscriber. It would mean a lot. So one of my, I'm going to go and look at something real quick before we get back into the building. I also have the Build with Baer community. You could join that. That is my Discord. I post photos of the kits I build. People post other stuff. They promote their own things. It's good, like-minded folks. So it's cool. That'd be a cool thing to join. And then I have my Let Play series where I play different games every Monday. I am doing Uncommonwealth. Here's the link to the first one. It's a good series. I think it's pretty great. Oh, Canadian Papa Bear. Drop down of that's fine. That's fine. I had a tier 3 subscriber there that ended, which is fine. That's okay. That was unnecessary of Canadian Papa Bear to do. And so I am totally okay with that. Just going to check my notifications here. It's probably just about... great. People just retweeting some tweets. That's cool. All right, we're getting back into it. Hello. So, good isekai. So Rob, you asked about that. That time I got reincarnated as a slime is my favorite isekai because it is there is some stuff that is in there that, like, there's some moments where there's some girls that are into him. Everyone likes to hold the slime. They like their slime friend, but there's not a lot. There's like, oh, the big boob girl is holding me, but it's not as depraved as other shows in it. Comparatively, it is basically saintly. Rising the Shield Hero is an isekai, yes. Completely and totally. It is a person that has, from our world, has been summoned into another world. Now, a lot of times isekai feel like Dot Hack could be considered an isekai in a way. The Greed Island arc of Hunter x Hunter. I mean, even like Sword Art Online could be considered that, even though there's a real world. It's not traveling to another world, getting stuck there. Dog Days. Dog Days is a really cute, fun isekai. It's because everybody's really young and it's very lighthearted. That's a good isekai. I'm gonna. Gate is an interesting one. It's a little tough. It's certainly not great. I'm gonna just look at a couple. Let's see if I can get any sparks things out. No, I don't. That. So a Stranger in a Strange Land. You could count. The devil is a part-timer, as it is. Whoa. Oh, shoot. I had some frame drops there. So I apologize for that. I hope everything's okay there. Uh, so Cold Scar, I hope that's fine. We had to drop a frame there, but hopefully everything's okay. Overlord is good. I think that the half of the second season is good. The third season's not great. First season is good. Uh, yes, Devil is a part timer. Is a great show, and I do think that it uh, is a cool idea because it is like a character from another world coming to ours instead of the other way around. Uh, Log Horizons, the Log Horizon is the more drop frames. Hopefully, sorry about that. Log Horizon is probably the best of the we woke up inside a video game kind of genre, so I would recommend that. I think Log Horizon is really interesting. Uh, and the lore is really cool, like the lore around it and them figuring it out. I would definitely recommend that show. Um, I hope that those are some good suggestions and are things you could watch. Let's see. Is there any other ones I can think of that fit the bill and work out well? Most of them are just like there's a few that are fine. They just don't do anything. Like in another world with my smartphone is a harem isekai, but it's like basically harmless. Uh, like nothing happens in it. Um, Restaurant from Another World is an interesting isekai in that it is a food based show, and it's a lot of people from other worlds coming to this. Doors from other worlds open in on this restaurant once a week, and they close to the outside, and then travelers from other worlds come to have cool food experiences. And it's pretty interesting. Yes, yeah. Um, Tanya the Evil One. Cold Scar, I don't like that show. I never finished it. But I did not enjoy what I played of or what I watched of it. It did not do anything for me. Uh, Yesterday I was at a friend's house and we were going. This is Mega Crane saying we were going to watch something on Hulu. The first thing that popped in on his continued watching was Outlaw Star. He owns Outlaw Star on DVD, and it was not that far from his TV. I was giving him shit for it. I love that. I love the idea of being like, well, I own this on DVD, but Hulu's right there. I totally get that. I mean, that's not. I'm not. I'm not against that or opposed to that. All right. Well, we're definitely We're gonna finish Diva up today, but we might not get to. We might not actually start the next kit, which is fine. We'll just do it in the future. Unrelated says Rich Hertz. I'm hoping One Piece World Seeker will be fun. I mean, the outfits they sent out look pretty fun. That's not necessarily saying that it's going to be cool or that it'll be good, but the the adventure and movie outfits they have look pretty neat. So I am interested in that. Let's see. I need to rewatch Outlaw Star. Last time watched it when it premiered on Adult Swim. I mean, I don't know if Outlaw Star holds up. I think it's fun. There's a lot. It has a lot going for it, but I don't know. It probably feels of its time, so I don't know. It is really good. I just don't know if it holds up. All right, to talk about anime, let's just talk about the anime I watched. So, that time I got reincarnated as slime. The big takeaway from that time I got reincarnated as slime that I want to bring up is that it's so weird. Like, the fact is that the show is a 24 episode, right? They did a double order, right? So it's 24 episodes instead of 12 or 13, and it feels it because it feels like they finished their big stories, and now they're like telling this small story, which is interesting. But basically, like without spoilers, he's building a nation. This slime, Rimuru, our slime friend, our good slime friend, is building a nation of various races and characters, and it's all really fun. and he's got a lingering thing he needs to go do. So the show, in its last like 5, 6 episodes, radically changes, and it's still in the same world, but it's like all of a sudden we now have a teacher of a bunch of young students, humanoids, in this fantasy world, and it almost like it becomes a different show. And it's still the same thing. There's still adventure and all that. But it's weird. It just feels weird. Like, I like that there's not this lingering dread, even though it's an isekai, so there's only so much dread that can show up in it before everything works out. But it's still, like, weird. It's just a weird vibe. And I know that they're almost done with, like, a lot of the translated material. There's more of it. Of the manga. But it is a weird thing. And I'm not 100% sure how to feel about it. Because I like the show a lot. But these last episodes are kind of weird. It's almost like the reset button. It's like, it feels like filler, but I know it's part of the storyline, if that makes sense. But it does feel like filler material, even though I know it's part of it. It's weird. Robbie asked, how is Miss Vampire Who Lives in the Neighborhood? I kept meaning to watch it, but just didn't. I love that show. So there's one part in it that's not great. But basically, once you get over one thing, you just have to get over it that the main human girl in it is weird about how much she loves dolls, and therefore how much she loves the main doll-like, in appearance anyway, vampire. Once you get past that, it's just a show about different kinds of people coming together in friendship, and it's just a slice of life, but the slice of life involves vampires, 2 vampires. Stackboy Rail says, hey Pat, love your work, bro. Well, thank you very much, Stackboy. Appreciate that. Thanks for popping into the chat. Working on Diva right now. Our Diva kit. And talking about some anime stuff. The one part that's not great is basically how I describe every anime I love to my friends. Yeah, there's one part where, like, the girl decides she really wants to go to the beach, so she, like, basically kidnaps the vampire, and it's like, that's and they do take a time to be like, this is fucked up, what are you doing? I usually at work when your streams are on. I live in Australia, but I'm on holiday this week, so I get to catch it. Oh, awesome. That's great. Yeah, I've always wanted to do a stream at a time that would be better for some folks that are not on the East Coast of the United States. Unfortunately, right now my internet is bad. I mean, it's just bad. Before 9 p.m. I can't stream, and that sucks, because it would be nice to offer at least one time that worked better for people. Started My Roommate as a Cat on your recommendation. Yes. Okay. So My Roommate is a Cat. The thing is, like, I was always saying, like, oh, it's so cute. It is about a guy coming out of his shell and becoming a good homeowner, or a good pet owner. But it's also about loss. It is a show heavily about loss and trying to become whole. And it can be very emotional. And they do sprinkle in episodes that are lighter. But then there are some that are heavy. Was it? Yeah, you definitely, Cold Scar, you were not expecting how heavy that show can be. I understand. I was in a similar boat. Zim Lorog says, can't type tonight. That's fine, Cold Scar. Been watching Mob Psycho 100, and it's so good. It is so good. So I, on purpose, today, waited until like 5:30 or 6 o'clock to watch the latest episode of Mob Psycho Season 2, because the ending of last week's episode was so devastating that I was like, I can't watch this at lunch. It will ruin my fucking day. because I was so afraid of what was going to happen with that show that I was like, I cannot find out bad things. I don't think this is going to happen the way they're setting it up. There must be a trick to this. Um, because I was just like, this could suck. Um, but it's an awesome episode. Today's episode is fantastic. Highly recommend. I mean, I've been talking up that show. It's this season is so good. Uh, Lastbrook says, "Oof! I just found out that was on Funimation and didn't realize there was more to it than being a dude and a cat." Lastbrook, I mean, it's gripping and fantastic. It might not be everything you want it to be. It might not be your cup of tea because it isn't a light show. There's some sadness to it. I mean, this guy getting a cat is part of a bigger thing that happens to him. Um, but it's fulfilling and really well told. So My Room as a Cat is great. I'm looking forward to the next episode. And the last episode thing I'll talk about today is I didn't watch Boruto. I know that it's some of the other students episode. So I didn't watch that yet, but I will. Yes, Cold Scar. The cat's origin story is a lot. The only other anime thing I'll talk about right off the bat is the episode of One Piece. I mean, this is like it's an incredible episode. I'm not here to tell you to get caught up on One Piece. I'm not telling you to just watch One Piece just for the hell of it. I am telling you that this episode, like, they fucking spent some money on this one. It looks incredible. The story is so interesting. It's so well done. This fucking episode is so good. It's oh, been watching One Piece for 10 years now. Yeah, I mean it's been on forever. But yeah, this episode was like so good and just like such a well done part of the show that I was totally engaged with it. I've always I have never followed the manga, but I knew that this thing was coming. Yes, this arc has been so cool. Like, it's a bummer because some characters are in it don't really have much going on. You know, it's a very Sanji focused arc, but that kind of makes sense, for the story anyway. But yeah, it's really good. There's like introduction to some really interesting characters. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything, but this arc is. And Rich is really into the manga, huh? It's cool. Yeah, I've never really followed the manga of it, but this arc has been pretty incredible, and I'm very much into it. So like I said, I'm not here to be like, what? You're not watching One Piece? Come on. But it's pretty damn good. I'll say that. All right, put that there. But I would say if you watched Mob Psycho, you should be watching season 2. If you haven't watched Mob Psycho, you should go back to season 1 and then watch season 2 because it's unbelievable. And then earlier you said that Boruto was okay. Yeah, I haven't watched this episode. Last episode was fine. I mean, like, I'm not here for fucking Sanji's Sasuke's terrible family hour. It's not surprising that guy who was raised by a father who didn't really care too much about him, and then whose older brother murdered everyone in his clan, turns out to be not a great there for his kid dad. But I don't need an episode to remind me of that. I remember the first exposure of One Piece being the dub, and I hated it. Glad I gave it a second shot in Japan. Yeah, in Japanese, I assume you mean. Yeah, I I definitely enjoyed it in the dub. That was my first experience exposure to it. I definitely liked it. I didn't, I wasn't enthralled by it. And then I stopped watching for a very long time and kind of got back a couple years ago into it and got caught up. And then I stopped watching, and then I just kind of randomly saw on YouTube a clip of the conclusion of the Pika Zoro fight from Destarosa, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I really fucking love One Piece." So I've been getting caught up again on this arc. It's so weird to watch like Naruto heavy episodes of Boruto, to be watching like the last Fairy Tale was another show that I'm caught up on now. I'm caught up again on Fairy Tale. It's so weird to be watching like all those things as they happen. It's just very strange. Also, can I say that the One Piece theme is awful. This One Piece theme is so bad. It's like, wait, did I? I'll jump back. No, yeah, they're supposed to be there. Okay. It's terrible. I don't think I'm alone on me. Uh, I love the clip of yeah. I love the clip of Zoro and Luffy laughing at Pika. Yeah, it's so great. They don't give him any quarter, and how terrible how his voice doesn't fit. I hated every bit of music in One Punch Man. I like the main theme, Rob. I do think the main theme fits, and the orchestral theme works for the show. I don't think it's great, but I do think that it works. Um, so I don't necessarily agree with you on that. Let's see. I've always found the art style in One Piece off-putting. I can see that. Not sure why, but I just like the way the main character looks. Yeah, I mean, I think that like the early animation feels different than the modern stuff, and some people like one over the other. I can understand that. If you don't like how Luffy moves around, it's going to be hard to get into the show. Um, so I can understand that. I couldn't stand the dub of Eva, but I watched in Japanese with subs and was blown away by the show. Yeah, I mean, Zim. Sometimes the dub just hits you the wrong way, and there are some shows that like the dub is fine, and I might even argue is just as good. Like, I mean, the classic example is Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop dub is incredible. I think Ed is better in Japanese, but that might be the only one that's vastly better in Japanese. We don't need to rehash that. It's an old conversation. Uh, yes, Cold Scar. There's a lot happening in the One Piece manga that I've seen. I mean, I haven't followed it, but from what I've seen of it. If I was going to get into a manga, which I'm not saying I would, I think that if I was going to get into something, it would be My Hero Academia, because I have heard a little bit of what's happening in the manga right now, and I fucking want to check it out. No spoilers, but I really fucking want to see what's going on in that show. It sounds incredible, and I would like to see that manga. So, I'm not saying I'm going to, but maybe. I watched Hellsing Ultimate a few months ago, and the English dub was very good. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not opposed to a dub. It's just not my my preference. And I know some people can't really concentrate on a show if they're reading along, and I understand that. Um, but yeah, there's like I thought the dub. I mean, the only way for a while, because I wasn't getting fan subs for a while, like You know, the dub of not Yu Yu Hakusho. The dub of Yu Yu Hakusho is fine. It's not great. The best part of the Yu Yu Hakusho is that they hired a sound-alike person to sing the opening theme. That is the opening theme in the English dub of Yu Yu Hakusho is a different singer just singing the song that sounds a lot like the singer of the Japanese version, and that's so fucking weird. Uh, there is definitely some stuff that goes down in My Hero Academia. Yeah, I'm hearing some stuff, and some stuff that like you can extrapolate makes more sense now about why a certain thing doesn't happen with a certain person, and like yeah, there's some stuff that I'm like, oh, this makes some sense now. Oops. All right, so we got to connect the arm here, our gun. And these do shoot stuff, so we can put some stuff on there, but we'll get to that in a second. Got to build the other one. Yeah, Full Metal Brotherhood, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I should say. Yeah, I mean, I certainly watched that dub. I don't remember exactly how I feel about it, per se, but I definitely watched it. I just can't. Yeah, I can't remember. Like, yeah, I think it was fine. I'll say this. I've talked about this before. I watched some. Oh, I've heard bad things about the Soul Eater dub. Yeah. Also, if you start in Japanese, sometimes it's hard. But if you start in English, sometimes you can jump back in. Like, the first few episodes of a show that I don't watch particularly a lot of, but to certainly watch some of. The first few episodes of where is it? What was I saying? Oh, the first few episodes of oh, Seven Deadly Sins. I watched it in dubbed. I watched like the first like 6 or 7 maybe in dub, and that show is fine. I don't love it, but it was fine in dub. And then I watched the subtitles and I was like, yeah, I think I like this more. I think Bond's voice is good enough that it works. And yeah, I think enough of the support characters, voice actors are good. Works out okay. Dragon Ball. I started in Japan in the 90s. Japanese, you should say, in the 90s, so I can't stand the English dub. See, I watched the English dub and then of Dragon Ball, and then, you know, there were so many bad dubs of Dragon Ball over the years, good to bad, like the different of it. So, like, I'm fine with it. I know a lot of people can't go to the Japanese because of Goku's voice. They just can't deal with it. Like, Goku as a kid, they're fine with, but as like an adult, they just can't handle you know, that voice. But I'm like, I'm fine with it. Or that like Goku, Gohan, and Goten are all the same voice actors. Like, yeah, I know some people just cannot deal with that shit, and I do not have a problem with it. I'm fine with it. Yeah, I mean, I love his voice. It's complete nonsense and great. And when he yells, see, that's the thing. The people don't understand. When that voice actress who's doing Goku yells as he powers up, it's so much better than any English voice actor doing. You know, it's just so much better. Oh, it's so good. I'm trying to think of other dubs I've liked. I mean, like I said, I think Cowboy Bebop is the finest dub that exists. Yeah, Japanese Goku is the best. One thing I love with subtitles is when they make the intro song lyrics into a karaoke style. That is pretty fun. I also enjoy when a show when a show knows that like this is the episode where there's no where the opening song has no subtitles. This is the clean one, and here's the one with the English translation, and here's the one with just the Japanese. I really like that. I think that's like a fun, cool element of it. All right, time to keep building here. Working on our diva. Got our Blizzard logo. I love that. It's good. Look, good. Plenty of good decals on this kit. Very into it. Speaking of decals, we got more to put on. Go back and watch the a lot of '80s anime dubs. Pulls on pulls on shirt color. Yeah, I mean, the main problem in the '80s dubs isn't just voice acting and the choices they're making. It is that they are, in a lot of instances, you know, you can't call it localization. You can only call it just complete and utter disregard for anything that was written down. Uh, and if that's a belief that its subject matter doesn't translate or whatever, but especially the '80s, like a lot of that is just, and some of it is people who are not good at uh, being voice actors. But yeah, it can be pretty damn cringeworthy. I'm gonna have a drink of water. It's time for more water. Even like '90s stuff, like if you watch like the Tenchi Muyo stuff is still good. Like as a dub, it's a fine dub. I mean, I watched it and then didn't watch till years later. I watched the later stuff and then went back to Pretty Sammy and kind of just to see whatever. But like, voice acting like is huge for the time, but still not great by any means. Oh, so we're gonna put our back here, back of our kit in there. I like that. It's good. Looks good. Various ways to get into this thing. Very cool. Alright, we just got to put our rocket boosters on here. I haven't seen Project A-Co in forever. I bet that does not hold up. And feels it might be very bad, actually. Alright. But I mean, a lot of stuff doesn't hold up, right? Because we were like, I was talking the other day that comedy stuff sometimes has a classic feel to it, and things that are at the time like make a lot of sense. In hindsight, you're like, I don't know, about that one. It's something, says Kolsk. Yeah, I don't doubt that. I tried watching a couple episodes of the Japanese subtitled version of Samurai Pizza Cats, and it's fine. And I even got some of the references that weren't in the English rewrite, because calling that a dub is disrespectful to anyone that worked on that show. But it's not particularly great. I mean, Samurai Pizza Cats, the English version, wasn't particularly great either, but it was still like watchable. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I have been looking for something to maybe like go back to. I thought it might be Flame Eureka. I watched about 10 episodes of Flame Eureka. It was fun to watch 10 episodes of Flame Eureka, but I'm not convinced I'm going to keep up with the show. And then, I mean, maybe Funimation has the dub of Initial D, and I was like, or the sub. I'm like, maybe I'm going to watch Initial D. Like, I haven't watched it in so long, and the first season, I've never watched the official release. I've only watched fan sub of it. Not that there's, like, going to be anything incredibly different about it, but it might be kind of cool to watch, like, best, decent streaming quality at least. I don't know. I don't know for sure if that's going to happen, but I have been thinking about it, so we'll see. All right, got to put another sticker on here. Man, seeing you do this kit makes me want to get it. All hail Diva. Yeah, Epic Open World, like this is one of those kits that like the photo I'm going to take after this is going to sell a kit to someone. Someone's going to look at this on my Twitter feed who's like, oh, because every time I build Lego, people are like, I've never seen Initial D all they're here about all the time. I think Initial D is great. I think you do have to give it a couple episodes because it does take a little while to really kick off. And I don't care at all about car racing. Street racing, couldn't give a shit about street racing. But every fucking character in that anime cares about it. They care about it so fucking much that I care about them caring about it. So that's why I think it's great. But yeah, when it's happening is a lot of times people are like, when it comes to the kits I build, they're like, oh, that looks cool. Yeah, whatever. And sometimes I build like a Ninjago kit, and I always get somebody who's just like, yeah, I bought that shit. That shit looks real good. It's like, yeah, it does. Uh, you're not wrong. But I definitely feel like a few kits have been. Well, yeah, someone bought Bastion, right? We had a Bastion sale because of me building it. I hope Jeff watches OG Gundam. Has talked about he has Blu-rays. Yeah, I don't know what Jeff and Gundam like. I think that like that could be interesting, and I think he could culturally appreciate it. I don't know if he would be super into it, um, but I could see that. Uh, I know that. Oh shit! That Diva almost slid off the fucking table. I'm gonna let Diva kind of fucking hang out there, right now, because Diva. We almost lost Diva there. Almost had to do a rebuild. Shit. I know he enjoyed Laid Back Camp, so I gave him a couple suggestions of some other shows that he could watch they're kind of of that ilk. It's of a time, yes. Go for All System Gundam. All System Gundam is a good name. Don't get me wrong, that's a good name. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. Um, uh, I I think I'm all for uh, Initial DJ. Initial initials Dan and Jeff. It's not as catchy, but I think that I think Dan could fucking get into Initial D. And I think Jeff. First of all, I just think Jeff would like the show, but especially I think Jeff will be into the music because it feels like an old Konami game. That fucking Euro beat shit hits so hard that I think Jeff would be super into it. I don't know about Dan, but I think Jeff would be very much into that thing. Uh, all right, so putting there. These are the shooter things that. Oh, I forgot. I didn't put one of these. Uh, Turn A Gundam. Austin and Jeff were. Yeah, I mean, that'd be interesting. All right. Oop. Yeah, so these shoot. I dropped one. I'm going to pick it up. Okay. Yeah. So this is our Diva. It shoots various things. Then we can take Diva here. So I'm gonna cut this part out because we didn't start that. So update the title for this episode. Yeah. Then we can take Diva here. Lift up the old lid. And then shove the kit in there. And it's kind of weird. She doesn't really like sit as well as Reinhardt does, but there's Reinhardt and Diva. And then so on Thursday we'll start the Chimera's Trooper. I'm all ready to start that kit, but we'll save that for Thursday. Because I don't want to start that tonight. So instead, I'll just repair Bastion and get ready for photos. We'll just do that. I can put the extra stuff I got to put in back in the bag. Always try to save the bag of stuff. Okay. All right. And let's just reassemble Bastion. And I'll answer any questions. If you've got any questions or comments or anything you want to talk about, anime stuff, want to talk about game stuff, we got a little time as we rebuild the Bastion and get ready for some compare and contrast photographs. I will be happy to answer anything you got in the chat. As we kind of wrap this up. So yeah, I'm thinking tomorrow I'm going to stream at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. At 10 p.m. I'm going to stream and play some Overwatch on stream. Not Overwatch. What am I saying? That would be weird. That would be a weird thing for me to play. I'm looking at Overwatch stuff. I'm going to play Hearthstone. I'm in a tournament on oh yeah, there's a Code Geass movie. Yeah, Cold Scar. That surprised me too. I was like, wait, what? So I'm in a Hearthstone tournament. I don't know how it happened. I mean, I know how it happened. I signed up for it. I don't know why I did this, but I did this. So I'm in a tournament on Saturday. It's on the internet. But it's not. I mean, it's online, but it's not streamable. So you can't watch it. But I'm in it on Saturday, so that's going to be interesting. So I have to practice with my decks, and so I'm going to be practicing. So one thing I haven't heard is, I know that they have the DVD rights, and I know they're going to have the dub. This is Funimation of one of my anticipated April releases, which is the the new anime based on the old anime of Fruits Basket. I know Funimation has the DVD rights, and they've announced that they have the dub, but no one has said if they also have the subtitle or if Crunchyroll is going to have the subtitle. And that's the thing I care about probably the most, is who's got the subtitle, because that's what I want to watch. Where does this go? Oh, it goes on the other shoulder. That's right. So this shoulder goes like this. This shoulder goes like this. And then that goes like... So, I'm really interested to find out who's got Fruits Basket. The Funimation posted the trailer with subs. Yes, but that... Yeah, it could mean that could mean that they have sub rights, or it could just mean that they didn't want to translate it into English. They just wanted to get the trailer out there as soon as possible. I think both are a possibility, and both are reasonable assumptions. So I'm not ready to say. Now, does that mean that it makes me think, okay, well, I can just watch them, like the normal release like everybody else, and not on the right schedule, on a adjusted schedule. I can join Funimation for 2 months, which is a thing I guess I could do. Or I could wait for it all to be done and then just get a free trial for like a month, because I don't have a Funimation account. And I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. My hope is that they don't have the subtitles, that Crunchyroll has the subtitles, and I can just... Because Crunchyroll is also like... They do lots of messages about anime they don't have. They certainly do news for things they don't have the rights to, or don't have the stream of, but not this much. They've been talking a lot. So my hope is that they have it. That's why they're talking about it. Yes, there's a Devil May Cry like Netflix thing coming. Also, I just think that the Devil May Cry marketing team was like, hey, a lot of people are playing this Dragon Ball game, and Jump Force is bad. What if we told them about our show? It's basically an anime, our game. Like, I think it was smart marketing. Okay, so here's the difference. I'm going to lay these down. Here's Bastion. Here's Reinhardt. And here's Diva. So that's the difference in size for these kits. So that's, there's your differences in the size. Kind of like lay them up with the legs. Which I think is fucking pretty great. It's pretty sharp. Um, uh, Smarketing. Yes, I do think it's smart marketing. And of course, neither of these have the Bastion Light, which is incredible. Um, but of course, this was like one set, and this is another set, so there's differences. But yeah, I wanted to show that off because it was asked, and I do think it's fucking cool to look at that. But thanks so much for watching. This is going to be the end of our stream for tonight. I will be back on Thursday with my normal build stream at 9 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow, Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, I will be doing a Hearthstone stream. Feel free to hang out for that if you'd like. It's going to start 10 p.m. Eastern time and go till later. Thank you, Zim. It was nice having you here. Epic Open World, great to have you. Rich, great to have you. Tell your friends, if you have friends that like models, like we're going to go back, we're going to do the Kamaris Trooper next. This is a model kit. We're doing that next. That's coming up. Tell your friends, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much for hanging out with me here in the Build-A-Bear Workshop. Good night.